Hey guys, hope everyone is finding a way to handle the changes and the restrictions that the pandemic is inserting into our lives. I pray for those that are struggling, and I pray this all will be over soon. So Blake asked that I prepare something that we could share for our youth Sunday school class. My first thought was, do I have time? And then my second thought was to prepare a lesson on time, how we spend our time. Some years back, I prepared a demonstration of time management for the Sunday school lesson, so some of you older youth might remember seeing something like this, but you've never seen it from the backyard of my house. The idea behind this demonstration is to illustrate the need of prioritizing things that you do, so the important things in your life have room in your schedule and don't get left to the side. If you start to fill up your bucket, this is your life, if you start to fill up your bucket with the little things first, is there still going to be room for the important things? So the little things in this demonstration are sand. So we're going to put this pitcher of sand in the bucket. If the little insignificant things go first, then you throw in some somewhat important things. I'm going to add a pitcher of pebbles. Will there still be room for the most important things? If you go in this order, the little insignificant things first, the sand, and then the somewhat important things, the pebbles, I can tell you that there will not be room in your bucket for all of the most important things, the rocks. So I'm going to take the rocks and put as many of them in my bucket as I can. And you see my bucket's it's overflowing. I did not have room for my important things. The bucket was already full, so all the most important things, the rocks, didn't fit into my life. Really only like 2 did, maybe 3. So now let's do it in a different order. Get everything set back up. This time, we're going to take all the most important things and put them in our bucket first. So we're going to fill our life with these important things. And look, our bucket's full, right? Or is it? So next, I'm going to add the try to add small pebbles. I'm going to pour them So is the bucket full now? Yeah, it's pretty full. So I added the small pebbles after the big rocks, but I still have some room. So now I'm going to pour sand into the bucket to fill up all the rest of this remaining space. Look, it's even overflowing just a little bit, but I can move it around a bit, and everything fit into my bucket of life. So the rocks are equivalent to the most important projects and things you have going on, such as spending time with your family, maintaining proper health. This means that if the pebbles and the sands were left out, the bucket would still be full and your life would still have meaning. The pebbles represent the things in your life that matter, but that you could live without. The pebbles are certainly things that give your life meaning, such as your job, house, hobbies, and friendships, but they're not critical for you to have a meaningful life. These things often come and go, and they're not permanent or essential to your overall well-being. And the sand represents the remaining filler things in your life, the material possessions This could be small things such as watching television, browsing your favorite social media sites, or running errands. These things do not mean as much to your life as a whole and are likely only done to waste time or to get the small task accomplished. So the metaphor here is that if you start with putting sand in the bucket, you will not have room for the rocks. This holds true with the things you let into your life. If you spend all of your time on the small and insignificant things, you'll run out of room. You'll run out of room for things that are actually important. In order to have a more efficient and effective life, pay attention to the rocks because they are critical to your long-term well-being. In order to stay productive and efficient in your personal and later in your professional life, it's probably best to have a maximum of, say, 5 rocks in the jar at any given time. These rocks may represent a project you want to accomplish, spending time with your loved ones, spending time with your faith, focusing on your education, or maybe mentoring other people. Your top 5 big rocks need to go into the jar first, or else they'll never get in at all. If you're able to identify the important things in your life ahead of time and set aside time you'll need to work on them, in the long run, it's okay to occasionally procrastinate on the pebbles and the other projects that aren't so important. Remember that the bucket is still full with just 5 rocks in it. So that is where your focus should lie in order to continue to live a full, happy life without over-obligating yourself. If you solve the big issues first by putting the rocks in the bucket first, the small issues can just fall into place. However, the reverse is not true. And one last thing, that illustration is an old one and what I will call a worldly one. I use that word worldly because the illustration makes no allowance for Jesus Christ. Is there room for more sand, more pebbles, more rocks? Not really. So how can we get him into our bucket of life along with everything else? Here's how. Think about him as water. This water represents Jesus. Watch as I pour the water. The water weaves its way down through the sand, through the pebbles, around the rocks. Give it a little shake and stir. Still in the long So what's my point? I'm saying that establishing priorities in your life is a wonderful thing, but those priorities must be touched by the water of Christ. The way to make your life count for eternity is to surrender it completely, every last corner of it, to Jesus. Let him permeate everything that you think, say, and do. Let him lead you into his perfect will and plan for your time here on earth. Let him guide you into all truth. Let him mold and shape you into the absolute best person of you that there can be. Let him take everything about your life, all the rocks, all the pebbles, all the sand, and bring it and use it to bring glory to God, the Father in heaven. So that's it. I think this message is something you guys probably already know, but during this time of quarantine and altered schedules, don't forget the important things. You might even have to change priorities for a little while. But remember that Jesus is with you through everything in life. You just have to let him in. So, bye guys. I love you all and can't wait until we're back together again in person so I can give you a fist pump or a big side hug. So, love y'all. Bye.